The Islamic Revolution of 1979 was the reason why we had so much it's radicalism and jihadism and Islamism all around the region. I'm thinking we will have the opposite of that happening when Iran becomes free, secular, and democratic. I think that could also, in the same way, basically be a source of inspiration and motivation for all the region to also fight for the same thing, to move away from Islam and towards secularism. This is why I also hope that we could, in Iranian people, after after the fall of the Islamic Republic, will maintain a good and positive relationship with the people of their neighboring countries, even if they're frustrated with their leaders. So, one thing I advocate for on the Persian side and the Persian channel is for us to be angry with Erdogan, but not with Turkish people. To be like Susanna here has inspired me, for example, to constantly to now also advocate for us to have a positive view towards Iraqi people, even if we're frustrated with the Iraqi government or the Iraqi militia. Same thing with Afghanistan. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Turkey, as much as we might be frustrated with the militia terrorist groups and the government over there, the Iranian people could be a major source of positive influence if they try to maintain a good relationship with the people who live under them. For example, in Afghanistan, especially with the Tajik community in Afghanistan, we like it's actually it's not a very known fact in Iran how many Tajiks have the similar cultural backgrounds and values as the Iranian people. Like many Tajik people, the Tajik people in Afghanistan, they love the Shah. They celebrate the Shahnameh almost like in the same level as the Iranian people do. So like that's a huge bond. That's a huge cultural bond. So with Afghanistan, we could create that bond. I mean, they speak the same language. They used to be part of Iran, so that's the bond that we have with them. Iraq used to be part of Iran. Turkey, we have that bond with Ataturk. So we need to create these bonds. Like Iran needs to become the base of operation for anti-Islamism and anti and pro-secular movement around the entire region. And I can't wait for the free Iran because on the Persian side, I want to become. This is what I want to do. I want to become one of the people who is leading activism to export, in the same way that Khomeini was trying to export Islamism outside of Iran's border. I want to be a small part of this global movement out of Iran that wants to export secularism from Iran to outside of Iran. So I'm looking forward to that, for that to be a secular Khomeini. All right,
Next, I have Joseph.
Joseph.
I'm back.
Yay, Joseph, where have you been?
Mardi Gras. I have been writing or doing logistics with a couple of crews that I ride with since Epiphany.
Oh my
That was
God.
January 6th. Ash Wednesday just happened this last week. I'm back. I mean, it's trust me, when you have to be at the start of a parade route at 3 in the afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm usually on the road at 2 o'clock, and then I'm busy. So, and then even on the days off, I'm usually trying to get whatever rest I can until it's the sole reason why I've been gone for about the last 2 months, and this will happen every year. It's just it's part of the grind. But I'm going to go back to something because I I don't see the one thing that needs to that I'm seeing happening because I've been kind of paying attention to it. Canada is splitting up. I'd like to point that out. Alberta, Saskatchewan are the two that are going to be the first to go, with the possibility of British Columbia, Yukon, and Northwest Territories. What's going on currently in Edmonton and Regina, those are the capitals of Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Regina.
That's actually becoming a lot more of a reality because, and also as well as Manitoba, it's because people are getting ticked off with what's going on in Ottawa. Carney is cracking down in all the wrong ways, and it's starting to tick off Canada. And to be honest about it, from what I've seen, I'm right now researching their ties with China because it's going to really mess the whole thing up. But if BC breaks with Ottawa, China's going to be is out to lunch because that's their Pacific entry point to Canada. Now, I grew up in Washington State, just below, so I don't. It's right now things are in flux. We've got God knows how much of our Air Force, the U.S. Air Force, is currently in the Middle East. But for those of you who don't know, Flight 42 tracks all air traffic around the world. So you can actually see the flight patterns. So right now, where we are war-wise, I think we're on the edges where Iran's about to find out. They've been playing games for the last couple of months in the Straits of Hormuz. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But it's
Hormuz.
really, really weird what's going on right now. And if the Iranian military wants to really touch U.S. boats, it's not going to end well for them. It's never ended well for a country that's touched our boats. And that's been that way for 200 plus years. Just want to put that out. That's what I'm seeing currently right now.
Yeah, by the way, I like that phrasing. It hasn't worked out for anybody who has touched our boats. That sounds badass. I like that. I don't think Canada is going like. I don't know if you're talking about Canada falling apart as like like turning to like secede, like different parts seceding. Like I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
Because it was
actually there has been some rumors floating around that Edmonton and Regina have been talking with the U.S. government, and there's been
yep.
referendums in both provinces to secede from Canada. And this is
Yeah,
not
but with very little support. With very little support.
Actually, a lot. If you listen to Canadian news, yeah, there's no support. If you
No,
go
I'm
through the
polls. Looking at polls. If you look at polls,
I unfortunately I've not been paying attention to what's being published by the Canadian, the primary Canadian media because they are all in the back pocket of Carney.
Yeah, I'm not talking about media. I'm talking about scientifically collected data. Polls suggest that there's not going to be enough support for it. Also, Canadians' main culture is that we're better than America. So I don't think that they want to like that's the main
It's also
Canadian
the same
identity is
country
being
as the
better than
reason
America.
why Canada is the reason we have a Geneva Convention.
Yes, I know.
It is because of their actions.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think okay, but you're always going to be able to find some people who would talk to Americans about something. That doesn't mean that there's a lot of support for it in Canada. But anyways, we'll see. I guess we'll see. All right, let's go to next.
Next, I have Richard.
Joseph. By the way, Joseph, it's really good to have you back. Miss hearing from you. But yeah, Richard.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I had just two quick questions and two quick comments and a quick question regarding something you said earlier. So, dealing with watching the show earlier with Goldie and with Sank and the chunky yogurt, arguments and things like that, I think it's very important to keep in mind, generally, just taking a step back, that leftism ideologically does not tolerate dissent, and these kinds of emotional breakdowns, emotional responses to any kind of dissent or question are to be expected anytime when dealing with a leftist. They often use them as clickbait specifically for that purpose because people love to see these kinds of angry breakdowns. But the emotional response is absolutely baked into the cake anytime you're dealing with a leftist. Second thing, the Mexican situation, I do agree with what you said about American soft power, but I am far more pessimistic. Mexico is essentially a narco-state. The level of corruption of the narcos in the government and the military is so pervasive. I would not surprise me in the least to find out that El Mencho was basically killed at the behest of a rival cartel looking to take over territory. I think this is something that Americans have dealt with before in South America. I have no doubt that Trump was dealing with this with open eyes. But any calculation involving American soft power influence in Mexico has to take that corruption into account. The question was looking at a mainstream media article the other day talking about the resurgence of the Iranian military nuclear program, basically a piece to help the argument to expedite the strikes. And the source they were quoting, who they actually quoted as the initial party disclosing the Iranian nuclear military project back in the early 2000s, was actually
Okay,
from the National
MEK.
Council of Resistance of Iran, so basically MEK. My question is how we can improve our relationship with more established media entities so that they're not using MEK sources in stories like that.
Right, right. So the reason, so what we're talking about is there was when originally Israel came and years ago delivered the information to the world where it showed that the Islamic Republic is not abiding by the terms of the agreement, the nuclear agreement, the limitations of enrichment of uranium by the Islamic Republic in the agreement that they had under the IAEA with the countries that were involved. The reason why we know that they were not abiding by the terms of the deal, the nuclear deal, is Israel basically coming up with a lot of information that they got from the MEK, right? So this is what the MEK likes to remind people, that the reason why we got so much international pressure on the Islamic Republic is the data that they unearthed. They basically gave to the whole world. And when if you ask like, oh, why are people sourcing them? Are there not other alternative sources of information? The problem with that is that it's not that they were being used as a source, like a media source. The thing that they're telling us is that the MEK was responsible in the the intelligent, like the spying activity. Like they were the ones who actually went and dug this information. They're the ones who are managed to, they had spies within Iran, within the Islamic Republic, and they give credit to themselves for eventually getting like, you know how the nuclear deal, the JCPOA, was thrown out, the Obama deal, the deal that Obama was responsible for signing with the Islamic Republic. The deal was basically the Islamic Republic will give in to the international observers from the IEA observers coming in and monitoring the level of enrichment of the Islamic Republic, and in return, there was the sanctions. Many sanctions were removed from the Islamic Republic. That is a deal that Obama was responsible for, and eventually Trump threw it away, and he referred to it as one of the worst deals ever, you know, one of the worst deals in history for the United States. The MEK likes to claim that, they deserve a lot of credit for the information that eventually led to that. So I have this hypothesis, and you might be it might be actually because I'm very biased against the MEK. You don't have, and nobody here has to take it seriously. But I have a hypothesis, because when I look at the MEK, I think like, there's no way you guys had like there's no way you guys did this. Like, you guys are so incompetent. When I look at their operations and the way that they behave, I'm like, you're not going to be able to even manage. I don't know, these, like, a whole bunch of really old cultish weirdos. Like, were you guys actually able to like go in deep inside the you know the the atomic infrastructure and operations within the Islamic Republic, and took all, I mean, maybe the Islamic, maybe this is also because the Islamic Republic is was really shitty at, keeping, like, hiding information. I used to think that Israel just got that information themselves, and given that we didn't have really much of an opposition back then, they were working with the MEK, and they were just like, how about we just, here guys, we'll just dump this on you, and we'll say you guys did it, right? Instead of saying that it was us, we will say that it was MEK, right? Because Israel did used to work with the MEK before. They don't anymore. I mean, Israel did used to work with Kurdish separatists and also with the MEK, Thankfully, they don't do that anymore. But honestly, to be fair to Israel, there wasn't really that much of a national patriotic opposition that they could rely on back then. And the MEK and the Kurdish separatists was all you get if you wanted to have something within Iran that would be, that you could use at some points against Islamic Republic. And Israel's priority is its own survival and its own, the security. So it made sense if that was the only the only option to go with that. So the MEK used to got a lot of credibility from that. And I remember Iran International used to also spend a lot of time trying to promote the MEK. They would bring them on, they will basically cover their ceremonies and they will celebrate them. They will bring them explaining the operations that the MEK was responsible for unearthing this, like for digging out this information. And they will basically give them hours to come and just market the MEK. They don't do that anymore, which is also the reason because the Pahlavi movement is so big and the Iranian people don't tolerate that. So that's why they don't do that anymore. But you know, but yeah, this was something that they used to do. And for example, I know and another reason why I have this hypothesis that Israel just managed to get that information themselves, and then they just gave it to MEK for them to claim credit for it, is because I also see Iran International, for the past couple of months, they have this very, very strange programs sometimes, and they all of a sudden come and present information that is so good and is too good. Like Iran International has these shows, and they come and say, for the first time, we're going to show you this. And they show us the name of very specific people within the Islamic Republic being involved in some very special operations when it comes to moving money. It's either crypto or gold or the way they move oil money around. And we're like, on the Persian channel, we're reviewing this and we're like, how the fuck did you guys get this? Like, I understand that Iran International is like very sophisticated when it comes to the amount of resources they have for their shows, but sometimes they come and deliver certain information that is really, really damaging, not just from a narrative perspective against the Islamic Republic, but from an intelligence. Like it just gives out so much operation, like it unveils so much of their operation that it will make so many of their money moving, crypto moving, gold moving terrorist activities gets exposed by Iran International in a way that they have to stop it. Like it has become such a big problem for the Islamic Republic. I'm like, this is not investigative journalism. This is like spy shit. Like this is beyond investigative journalism. Like every time we cover this, like they do certain things that we don't see from, I don't know, Reuters, CNN, like even investigative journalism by some of the greatest like Western media. I haven't seen somebody being able to do that. Like I wish I could go into details regarding what sometimes in Iran International shows us. I'm like, this is not investigative journalism. And I'm like, this is an Israeli dump. This is like, I think like Israel is just like going around unearthing information and they just want to deliver it to the world. And they used to dump it into the arms of, like, into the lap of the MEK. And now that the MEK is not relevant anymore, they're just dumping it on Iran International. So this is my conspiracy theory that Israel just goes in and just gets information, and they don't want to be the ones who are putting it out there because they don't want to basically give the idea that, oh yeah, as we are in Iran and doing this and that, because they want to add to the whole narrative that they're inside Iran. And anyways, they have their own reasons why they don't want to say that this was us. They just get the information and they put it. It's like a gift. It used to be a gift to the MK, and in my opinion, now this is just they're just giving it as a gift to Iran International. This is my hypothesis. I have no evidence for it. This is the conspiracy theory that I have. I don't know, Richard. Did I even answer your question? Did I even answer your question? Is Richard even here still? Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's an interesting hypothesis. I mean, there is no doubt that there are divisions within the US government. And they would love to create this division in Iranian politics as well. I mean, we've seen this before, haven't we? You know, that divide and conquer theory. Yeah, go on.
No, I just really have to go. So like, I thought this is going to be like 20 seconds, but like, can you
Okay.
sorry, because I want to hear what Susanna has to say, and I'm almost running out of time. Yeah, go.
Yeah, can you move
Go
on
on.
to Susanna?
No. I was just saying that, you know, I think that where they're getting their information from is probably divisions within certain governments, i.e., the US, that want to create divisions in Iranian politics and create factions. And I think it's probably them who are feeding the MEK this information, or rather releasing the information through the
No,
MEK.
yeah, I don't know what you mean by division. Okay, but I'm just gonna quickly respond to this, and then I'm gonna move on to Susanna. I don't blame the United, but I don't blame Israel for doing this with the MEK before, and I appreciate that the fact that they moved on away from them. When Israel was working with the MEK, it was basically at that time there was zero alternatives. There was nothing there as a movement, as an organized movement, and MEK, as unpopular as they are, they were organized, to be fair to Israel, not to be fair to MEK, but the Kurdish separatists and the MEK were the only groups in Iran against the Islamic Republic that had some level of organization. So that's why it made sense. I want to move to sorry, after I'm gone, you guys will not be rushed. Sorry for rushing everybody. After I'm gone, you guys can continue the conversations without anybody rushing you. I just want to hear Susanna as well before I go. Susie.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm so sick, I forgot what I was gonna talk about.
Oh my god, I was like rushing through all of this
I
because
mean,
I was like, I want to hear
I can
Susie.
tell you a nice story instead.
Oh no.
I've been making a
Oh
lot of
no.
I've been making a lot of friends at my local Iranian demonstrations, and it's quite nice. I'm like, why is it 10 times easier to make friends at these Iranian demonstrations than like anywhere else in life? But I feel a little guilty because like, we're there to demonstrate about something really serious and like really sad, but it's honestly like the best part of my week because I get to see like all my friends in one place, and like I just show up and I just get this feeling where I'm like, oh, this is my community. Um yeah. And
No.
yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No. No, that was good. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Okay,
Oh,
then.
also
Okay, so I thought I was not.
there are people in
Yeah.
the chat who are telling you that they really need you to check your Instagram, like Nail Bunny, and I think it was like
Yeah. Okay.
point.
Telegram, not Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
let me shut up.
okay, I will, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, guys, today I messaged my dad and said so sorry because he had messaged me and I hadn't respond to him, and I feel really really guilty. So if you think like I'm ignoring you, I mean my dad is in Iran and he messaged me and I didn't respond to him. Okay, and I haven't been a very good son. So you like just wanted to say like it's not just you, okay? It's also my dad.
There
But
was also
okay,
someone in the beginning of the show that was concerned that Goldie got mad at her husband or something, but I told her the same thing, that everyone is just really busy.
let me just quickly show. I'm glad that Susie is here because I wanted to show, because a couple of days ago we were discussing whether we should be worried about United States when it comes to Islamism, and I mean Islam, and the pro-Palestine crowd. And we were saying that, yeah, maybe like we shouldn't be. It's not the UK, okay? It's not the UK. So the UK in the situation is a lot worse. But I was also arguing that if we keep thinking that that's how you become the UK, okay? So, and I do want some people to be, I don't want people to panic, but I think a little bit, being a little bit nervous is important, because you don't want to basically become alarmed only when it's too late, right? So with that being said, I just want to quickly show you this. So this is Austin, Texas. This is Austin, Texas. Let's watch this. All right, so guys, one thing I wanted to say, I used to be told that if there's one place that you can't pull off this shit is in Texas. They're like, oh yeah, sure, they could do this in Seattle, or they could do this, I don't know, in San Francisco, but go try this in Texas. Well, I mean, they tried it. Well, there you go. This is in Texas. So,
What were
Susie, I
they
saw
saying?
you
Like
raise your hand.
Hadi?
They're saying
Yeah, I
Ali, so
don't know.
they're Shia. So let me explain something
Yeah.
really quick. So what a lot of people don't understand is that, yeah, I mean, Texas still definitely is like yeehaw motherfucker. But what a lot of people don't know is that a massive hub of refugee relocation is centered in Texas, specifically Houston. And so there is a massive refugee population in Texas from all across the world, but there's a particular population of Iranians, Arabs, general Arabs, and Pakistanis. A massive population of Shia Pakistanis, to the point that we have records of Iranian soft power diverting funds to Shia extremist schools in Texas. So let me be clear, like, the rest of Texas is still don't mess with Texas. Like, don't get it twisted. But there is a large and prominent refugee population that is and certain elements of it are disproportionately Shia Pakistani. And we know that the Islamic Republic utilizes their soft power not on Iranian Americans, but they utilize their soft power on Shia Americans, predominantly Shia Lebanese in Dearborn and Shia Pakistanis in Texas or wherever they may find them. So that's just to give some context and why they're like Ali, Ali, Ali. Like, yeah.
So, what do you suggest we could, like? What is the counter to that? Like, what do we do?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeffrey.
I actually know a couple of people that are directly involved in the movers and shakers in countering the influence operation of Islamic fundamentalists in Texas in the areas you talked about. So we should talk offline.
Oh, actually, Jeffrey, could you send me a message about that? Because I might know some people too.
Oh,
Might be the same people.
Jeffrey, maybe like all the things that you wanted from me and then disappointed you because I have like no time to get back to you. Susie, maybe you could like talk to Susie. She's like so good at managing the exact things that you think that we should be doing as a group together. So Susie is, by the way,
I have an
Susie's my boss,
idea.
by the way.
Armin, I'm never
Can I
disappointed.
chime in?
No, before you chime in, let me actually share a few other things with you regarding this topic, because I need to go. If you chime in, then I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish all of this. So just wanted to share this video with you guys. This is a mom with a gun inside a mosque. So let's see what he has to say. I haven't seen this one before.
طلقة في الراس وراح على جهنم لا يجتمع كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام كافر وقاتله في النار أبدا النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يعطي بشرى لمن يقتل المجرمين لمن يقتل الكافرين.
So I haven't seen guys. I've seen a lot of things. I haven't seen this before. I haven't seen like like holding like. So basically, he's saying there is no better way to worship Allah than by, oh my God, deleting an infidel. And I don't know where this is, but he's preaching holding a gun. Where is this? I want to know where this is. I want to know where this is. But he's preaching with a gun inside a mosque. Where do we see? Islamist imam with a gun inside a mosque. A mosque where? There's no better way. Is this America? Because I know in Islamic countries you can't do this. You can't do this in Islamic countries. You can't just hold a gun inside a mosque. Is this America?
I don't know. I would be very suspicious.
Okay.
Definitely seems more UK, to be honest, because this is just
UK. You
doesn't
can't hold a
happen in
gun.
the
You
UK.
can't hold a gun inside the mosque anywhere in the UK. So it can't be the UK. But let me see what this is. I haven't watched this. So let me read the caption just really quickly. In less than 50 seconds, this man exposes the hypocrisy of gays and feminists supporting Gaza. It's saying if a gay person goes to a Muslim country, he will be stoned to death. If a feminist goes to Palestine, she will be beaten and forced to marry a Muslim man. Let me just watch this, see.
Gays for Gaza, trans for Hamas, trans for Palestine. This really confuses me. If a gay person goes to a Muslim country, they'll be thrown off a building. If a trans goes to a Muslim country, they will be stoned to death. Or the feminists like Free Palestine. If a feminist goes to Palestine, she will be covered from head to toe, beaten up. She'll be forced to marry a Muslim man. The liberals don't understand that Christianity is the best religion, because in Christianity, we actually love you and we want you to repent. You see, these guys hate America, but if it wasn't for America, these guys would kill these guys. America are the only people protecting these guys from these guys, but for some reason, these guys hate.
So one thing I don't like about this is that we want to get the LGBT, like we have some people within the LGBT community who are pro-Israeli and anti this whole, axis of resistance bullshit. So we don't want to talk as if that they're all against us and they're all not on our side, right? We should, like when you say the gays, the feminists, like, I mean, we have had some people that call themselves feminists, and they're basically working very hard for women's rights inside Islamic countries. I mean, against Islam as well, right? And we have had, many gay people who understand that Israel is a safe haven for the LGBT community. So I think we need to be more careful regarding how we phrase this. I mean, you could talk about that without actually alienating them. It's very important we don't alienate them. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Jeffrey, yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually part of the LGBT community. Right? I grew up in an openly gay household in the 80s. I'm alternatively orientated myself. I'm a volunteer for the AIDS vaccine test study. I didn't come out until 2015, and that was in response to the left's attack dogs, the Human Rights Council, coming up and trying to ask me for a fucking donation. I was getting salad doing my postdoc at IWP and looked at his stuff. I'm going somewhere. I'm going to tie this to Iran. So I'm looking at his little bullshit thing. I'm like, give me your shtick. And now it was all Judeo-Christian think tanks he wanted to target. So I said, it's amazing. How come I don't see anything regarding Islamic fundamentalists here? And he's like, what do you mean? Well, how come you don't mention the fact that we're beheaded in Chop Chop Square in Saudi Arabia? How come you don't say a fucking word, not one, about gay kids hung from the neck till dead from a crane in Iran? So he goes on and on. Finally just admits he's getting paid $25. There's a reason that I actually protested against gay marriage in front of the Supreme Court, because the left doesn't speak for all of us, Armin, although they claim that they do. And if you are indeed a member of a previously vulnerable demographic the left has spent 70 years hijacking, and you dare not support what they tell you to support, first they threaten you, then they bribe you, and then they destroy you. Like, there are allies within that community, Armin. They don't speak for all of us, brother.
Of course. I mean, Susie is also here, member of the LGBT as well. President Hart, I know you want to say something. I just, before I go, and then after that, there's no time limit after this. I just wanted to share something that I think a lot of you would appreciate, because this was insanely brave. This is in which university is this from? This is from Isfahan University. No, this is from, Isfahan University inside Isfahan in Iran. And the reason why this is significant, because we have already seen so many videos from inside Iran where people, during the Lion and Sun Revolution in early January, they came out into the streets and they raised the Lion and Sun flag. But let me just show you this and tell you why this is extraordinary and why it's significant in so many different ways. So let me just So let me tell you why this is very significant, okay? It's not just because he's raising the Lion and Sun flag inside Iran, which is, as we're speaking right now, the greatest, the greatest crime that you commit. This is the biggest red line right now. This is something that the Islamic Republic is the most sensitive about right now, and is basically the worst thing you could do. Okay, this is treason according to the Islamic Republic. It's not just that, because we've already seen the brave Iranian people raising the Islamic Republic as the Lion and Sun flag against the Islamic Republic, knowing that the consequences for this being very high. The reason why this is even more significant is because this is happening. This just happened yesterday. I mean, earlier today, right? Hours ago, right? But the reason why this is significant is because this is happening right after the massacre, right? So right after tens of thousands of Iranians have been killed by the Islamic Republic. So these people are doing this with the awareness that other tens of thousands of Iranians just around 40 days ago paid the heaviest price just for doing this. So that's one. Two, another reason why this is very significant is because it's being done in daylight. It's not even, it's outside, it's not inside someone's home, it's not in a private, it's not like in the privacy of your home, like a sneaky video that you take and you post it on social media. It's not in the middle of the night, it's not under the cover of darkness, it's outside in daylight in front of everyone to see. And third, another reason why this is very significant is because this is inside a university. And as you know, I've been showing a lot of videos showing how our universities are filled with people who are pro-American, pro-Israeli, pro-Pahlavi, anti so-called Palestinian cause. So I'm really proud of our Iranian university students, because in a world where so many university students are going around and chanting free Palestine, our university students are supporting Prince of Pahlavi and saying shove the Palestinian flag up your ass, which is a chant that yesterday they had also in a university. Prince of Pahlavi, as you guys know, is a major ally and supports Israel, and wants Iran to immediately become an ally of Israel and recognize the state of Israel as soon as the Islamic Republic collapses. So the Iranian people support him, knowing that that's his policy, which shows the pro-Israeli views of Iranians. But on top of that, the fact that this is inside a university, the reason why that makes this very significant is that these people are known, like university students, their names are known, and this is they could very easily be identified. It's not like in the streets where there's no record of who's who. These are university students on a campus where everyone's name is recorded, everyone's on a list, and everybody could be easily identified, and they're still doing this on the university campus. And that's why this revolution is not going anywhere. Even if United States and Israel don't attack, the Iranian people have shown that this revolution is not going to be, it's not going to be stopped. And this is very surprising, even for this is very significant even from the most optimistic perspective, even with the people who had the most optimistic perspective are at all, because even optimistic people would think that after massacring tens of thousands of Iranians, it would take a long time before the Iranian people would dare come back into the streets. But it didn't take that long. It took 40 days. It took 40 days. And the Islamic Republic also, their calculation was that, okay, after I kill so many Iranians, I have some time. I put so much fear into their hearts that this is going to take a while before they come back into the streets. This changes everyone's calculation. This shows that it doesn't matter how many you kill, the revolution, we're not going to be, this wasn't a phase of a revolution that was closed, and now we're waiting for the next phase. This revolution is going to be ongoing until the Islamic Republic collapses. And it was very important that we saw all of the video, not just this, but all of the other videos that we've been seeing from the universities in Iran, and also for the 40th day memorial of the fallen. It's very important to have seen that before America and Israel's attack, because it shows that this is not going to be an American or Israeli revolution. Their help is very much needed and appreciated when it comes to reducing the cost of this revolution. But if we didn't see these videos, there's two important points here. If we didn't see all of these videos coming from Iran before the America's attack, it would come off as if the Iranian people tried to do a revolution, they failed, and then America came and did regime change for them, right? But now what we have here is proof that this revolution would have gone as far as it needed, even without American Israel attacking. This revolution would have continued until the fall of the Islamic Republic, because we saw the Iranian people, it's not like they would have gone. By the way, Harris, your mic is open. If you don't mind closing it until I'm done. I'm hearing
Oh, I'm
some
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll mute
That's
myself.
okay. That's okay. No need to say sorry. You could just mute. What was I saying? Yeah. So the idea would have been that the Iranian people tried, they failed, and America came and did the job for them, right? But now we see, and even if the Iranian people showed up after an American attack, we would have the narrative would have been the only way they could have come out, the only way they would have come out is if America and Israel came and helped them. But now what we're seeing is that even before the attack, they came out. So they didn't wait for an American and Israeli attack. I mean, the American and Israeli attack on the Islamic Republic is going to significantly reduce the cost of this revolution, and it's going to bring the fall of the Islamic Republic earlier, which is very much needed because we don't want to pay thousands of lives at the cost of this revolution. So we need that. We need that help, but the Iranian nature of this revolution has now been recorded. That one way or another, the Iranian people would have came out. One way or another, the Iranian people would have came out. So that's the first thing that we see here, and that's why this was very important to see. But another thing that we need to that this helps with is now America, when America attacks, they have even more justification for the attack. Because without these videos, the revolution would have been assumed over. When it comes to the political capital that Trump has to pay when it comes to starting this war, if the revolution was considered over, the political price would have been higher because there would have been less justification. Because it would have been as if, okay, maybe if you attacked when the revolution was ongoing, that would have made sense. But now that that's over, you missed your window of opportunity to get in, and now the revolution is not going, so you might as well not attack. But these videos will show that the revolution hasn't gone anywhere and it continues. So the it provides an opportunity, more justification for the attack, because then these videos could be shown as a demonstration that the Iranian people are still fighting against the Islamic Republic, and the fight continues. So American intervention makes sense. It has the justification for the specific, because remember, different Americans get convinced by different things. Some of them will get convinced by the nuclear threat. Some of them will get convinced by the global order perspective and the cost of maintaining stability in the world, as long as if you allow the Islamic Republic to continue. And some Americans will be convinced from the humanitarian perspective. There are Americans who are moved by the suffering of the Iranian people and want their government to involve just for the sake of supporting people who are fighting for their freedom. So for those Americans, seeing that the revolution has continued, this buys political capital for President Trump. So that's why these videos were so important as well.